Welcome, everybody. My name's Rick Muir. I'm the director of the Police Foundation. We're the UK's independent policing think tank. Our role is to carry out research, generate evidence and insight which can help inform policing for the benefit of the public. And that's we've been doing that for the last 40 years. Specifically at the moment, we're engaging in a major independent review of the police service in England and Wales, which we've titled a Strategic Review of Policing in England and Wales. And as part of that process, we are looking at policing in a strategic sense. So we're looking at strategic, I guess, in two ways. One is we're looking to the future. So we're looking at what kind of policing do we as a society want and expect over the next 20 years. And we'll also be, the other sense in which we're strategic is we're looking at the whole system, the way in which policing as a whole is configured in England and Wales. But our focus, even though our focus is on England and Wales, we're also looking at what's happening around the world. And so it's really important for us to be able to compare both the challenge and the ways in which we might respond to that challenge in England and Wales with other countries as well. And so I'm delighted today that we have such a stellar international panel of speakers and indeed an international audience for this discussion on innovation in policing. And really the origins of this this sort of conversation which we're going to have over the next couple of hours really started with a conversation between myself and Dr. John Coxhead at Loughborough University, who's one of this country's leading thinkers about innovation in policing, and we had a conversation about how we can make sure that we get some real good and interesting content about innovation injected into our strategic review so that we're alive to all the latest thinking around police innovation around the world. And the one thing which we're going to do as part of this discussion on innovation, which is relatively novel, particularly in a police context, I think, is we're not really going to talk about technology, which is, as I say, quite unusual. I think when people think about innovation, and particularly in policing, people tend to think about gadgets and software and kit and stuff that can, technology that can help the police do their work. But we're not going to talk about technology particularly. We will touch on it, I'm sure, but we're going to talk about a whole set of other things: culture, mindset, relationships, all of those things which are really important in sort of driving and making policing innovative. And of course, the reason for innovation and the importance of innovation is that the world is changing very rapidly and significantly, and in some ways with the changes in technology is the kind of social changes we're living through in the present time are comparable, I think, to the economic and social changes which led to the creation of modern policing in the 19th century. And what we're seeing now with the shift in crime online and the emergence of a much more networked and interconnected world, and all of the challenges that poses, the opportunities and the challenges, all of that poses very major questions for policing, which is in some ways based on quite a traditional model of local geographic delivery, and is, I think, at times struggling to keep pace with the kind of changes which we can see around us. And so innovation in that context is really important. I mean, there are other good reasons for innovation, such as the need to get value for money, the need to generate creativity and good ideas, and look after the police workforce and so on. But innovation, I think, is central, and it's certainly one of the things that we'll be thinking about a lot as part of our review. So, as I say, not a big focus on technology, but certainly a focus on culture, on approach, on mindset, and on relationships, which should, I think, run through the excellent series of presentations which we're going to hear from in a moment.